And ring my makeshift bell here. Let's see how well this works.
Wow, sounds pretty good.
All right.
There you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Keely Hall, the president of this fine club, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the July 24th meeting of the Rotary Club of Brentwood. Yay!
Yay!
Mark McFerrin today has our invocation, and he will be followed by Lori Reed with the Pledge and Four-Way Test. Mark, take it away.
Before I pray, I have to ask the question. What's going on behind your head, Keely? I mean, there's some bad clouds forming out there. It's not good. Stay inside.
Yeah, it's either the Northern Lights or it's the cloud above Cousin Eddie's RV. One of those two.
I'll go for the Northern Lights.
That's probably a good play. Yeah.
Right. All right. Will you all pray with me? So here we are again, Lord, on the latter part of July, and we're kind of wondering, gosh, where'd summer go? Where'd all these, I don't know, but I'm sensing that there's this, I call it the COVID blanket that everybody kind of is feeling about just all that's going on in our culture today and what we're fighting with. So I just pray today in the next little bit, even in this time where we gather, that you would lift our spirits and give us encouragement by just being together, seeing one another, remind ourselves of what all the things that we do have to be grateful for. We are grateful for our health, even for those of us who may have gotten COVID and the symptoms that come with it. I pray that they're minimal. I'm hearing that more and more, that those who get it, they're minor and that they're moving through it quickly. I'm also hearing good reports, Lord, about this Dr. Richard Bartlett out of Texas and the success he's having with his asthma treatment. I pray that that's for real and it just takes off and it really helps a lot of people, because that's something that's out there now. Thank you that you're a God that's in control in spite of the fact that things don't look like we're in control. I pray ultimately you take away the fear that we feel at times, and that you would all cause us to really continue to look towards you and what you're about, what you want to teach us. Thank you that you're a God who cares. You're not apart from us, not wondering, not caring about us, but you're really here for us. And we thank you for those promises and we lean into them. Thank you for the club that we belong to, this place we get to live called Brentwood and the surrounding areas. We're grateful for friendships. Help us to use our days wisely, make the most of them, because we don't know how many days we have. But we know that you've given us life this day, for things to do, and I pray that we do them well for the sake of your name. In Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Miss Lori Reed.
If everyone could face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it
stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And before we do the four-way test, I want to just tell y'all I miss you. I miss hugs, in-person meetings, but this will have to do, right? So the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it fair to all concerned? Excuse me, is it the truth? Second,
is it fair to all concerned?
Third, will it
Will
build
goodwill
goodwill
and better friendships?
And fourth, will it be
Will it be
beneficial to all
concerned?
Thank you. Sorry about that. Bernie, I told you I printed it out so that wouldn't happen.
That's where you went wrong.
Yeah.
I know.
Jane Covington, our secretary, will scan through and see if we've got some guests. I do know, I'll help her out. I know we've got Jeffrey Lowe somewhere in here.
Yes. Yeah, I'll introduce him. He's in here. Jeff is a former neighbor of mine, a good friend who is here in Brentwood. He's in the healthcare, or he's in IT or technology, and works for Google and works with the automotive and healthcare industry for Google here in town, and is my guest today. So say hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a privilege to be here and to meet everyone for the first time. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for extending the invitation.
Thank you.
Welcome, Jeff.
have him.
All right, Jane, have you found anyone else that's a
I
guest?
have
on
not.
this
This is
Rotarian?
not easy to do here.
It is not.
So I would
It's
say
definitely not easy.
speak up if you are a guest or have a guest. I think that's it, Keely.
All right, I think we got it covered. I'm glad to have you, Jeff. I've heard of that Google place. Is that a good employer?
It's a great employer. It's a great place to work. The people are fabulous. It's just been fun.
Well, I hope it sticks around. I hope it's not one of those fly-by-night organizations.
Yeah, me too. I'd be really disappointed if it went away.
All right, we've got Happy Bucks. So if you are happy today and you would like to either PayPal or just we'll do an IOU or whatever you want to do, put $1 in virtually and share what you're happy about. A lot of super happy folks here. Come on, who's happy?
I'll use my time I'd ask for as a Happy Bucks.
Well, I was just about to move to announcements, so that's just.
So, yeah, that'd be perfect. Wanted to let the club know we have some exciting news regarding our Inclusion Playground, that project that we've been working on. Yesterday, I was at a part of the information session with the commissioners where they went over the agreement that all of our wonderful Rotarians have helped with. Larry Kane, Tom Carr, Mike Walker, Lena Sugis, the whole world. And they agreed to our agreement and our changes, which is perfect. The commission said instead of approving it in that motion, they wanted to wait till Monday night and add it to the consent agenda so that it was in a public format and we would get some publicity from it. So good things are happening, everyone. So wanted to let everyone know. Also, your Rotary board did motion to form an inclusion committee, an inclusion playground committee. So if any of you are interested in joining, I know I've spoken to a few of you, please email me and let me know, and we'll go from there. So next week, we'll start getting some emails. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Sarah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I throw in $10 for her Happy Bucks?
Say it again.
Can I throw in $10 for her Happy Bucks?
Yes.
Because I think that's fantastic.
Yes.
Thanks, Sherry. That's awesome.
And speaking of Happy Bucks, we did, you may remember that a few weeks back, we did take up a Happy Bucks, special Happy Bucks collection for, to benefit the family of Officer Legeza who died on Franklin Road a few weeks ago. And we did make that donation this last week. We also had a generous Rotarian who put us to a round number of $250 for that collection. So that was great. Larry Kane, would you like to take a minute or two to discuss the upcoming golf tournament?
Gladly, thank you. Well, we're 59 days away from our golf tournament. In good shape from the standpoint of players. We have plenty of players. We need sponsors. And I guess my biggest, and I'm going to send an email out to everyone this afternoon, but my biggest question would be, we're right now, we're short of what we did last year by about 120 sponsors. That's just whole sponsors, our most inexpensive sponsorship, 120. That's not new sponsors. That's what we had last year. We've got about 46 sponsors right now, and we had 166 last year. So my beg to the membership is going to be, please contact those members, those sponsors you had last year, and let's get those renewed. Now, we have an incentive program that hopefully you've heard about from your team captains, that for every member that sells 2 new whole sponsorships, that's new ones, You get 2 $25 gift cards to local restaurant and new sponsorships. You get 2 $50 gift cards to a local restaurant. And if anybody comes in at 3,000, which is basically 3 sponsors, 3,000 or more new sponsors, you get 2 $50 gift cards to Connor's Steakhouse and a $100 Visa gift card. So a little incentive there. Some of our money we'll give back to our members to help them maybe get going. I don't expect us, I had one time hoped that we would make our goal this year, which is a 20% increase over last year. I'm now saying last year, I'll be extremely happy. But we have got to sell somewhere close to 100 sponsorships to get there. And these are people that bought last year. They know you, they know our program, they know the club, they know where the money goes. So there shouldn't be a hard sell. I know some companies, smaller companies especially, may have a problem, and I understand that. But there are a lot of them that don't. So please, starting this week, maybe we've got 2 months still, plenty of time, but start making those calls. That's the only thing I can ask you to do. The tournament itself, the day, the players, all that's in good shape. We're fine there, but we just need to raise some money. There's a lot of people out there. I read this morning about Second Harvest, and some of the charities that we've supported in the past are really hurting right now, and I would love to help them, but we've got to have the money to do it. So please work on those sponsorships, and I appreciate what everybody has done so far. 40, I forgot the number, 43 or 44 members have sold something so far. Great. But that also means that 60 something have not. So thank you for the ones that have done that. And if you need anything at all, call me, email me, text me, whatever, and I'll get you whatever you need. Thank you.
Thanks, Larry. And lastly, one more time, we'll announce that Linus and Devin are looking for some help. And now Linus, Devin, and Dick are now looking for some additional help. If there's maybe one more volunteer that has a little bit of tech experience or a little bit of Zoom experience and would like to join the technical meeting host committee group, Devin and Linus and Dick would appreciate your help. So just send an email to one of those 3 or to me and let us know that you are willing to help out in that capacity. That would be great. And now, with no further ado, Jennifer Bourne will introduce our speaker for the day.
All right, so I am thrilled and honored to introduce you to Miss Aureata Majors. She is a good friend of mine, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for her and for what she does. Miss Aureata is a board-certified family nurse practitioner who provides mobile health services throughout Nashville and surrounding counties. Her goals are to provide a vehicle where aging patients can remain in their home to reduce hospital admissions and ER visits, and to provide access to care for working individuals and for those with young children. Before starting her company, Advanced Nurse Consultants, Aureata worked as a registered nurse in Nashville area hospitals, adjunct facility at TSU, Tennessee State University, and at Vanderbilt University School of Nursing. Make sure you can hear me. And she enjoyed the flexibility of travel nursing in the states of Colorado and Florida. Her experiences include, but are not limited to, home health, geriatrics, medical surgical nursing, pediatrics, oncology, hematology, outpatient ambulatory care, and correctional medicine. Aureata now coaches and mentors future nurse and nurse practitioner students. She provides consultation and mentorship for budding entrepreneurs whose desire is to make an impact within the healthcare community. Aureata enjoys spending time with her family, singing, playing cello, and volunteering. Aureata is also available for public speaking engagements, community health events, as well as private in-home telephonic consultations. I'm going to put her contact information in the chat box for you guys, and she is here to spend some time with us and kind of share some of her knowledge with us. So please welcome my friend, Miss Aureata Majors. Yay.
Hello, guys. Good morning. Thank you, Jennifer, for inviting me. Jennifer and I are friends, and I guess we could call colleagues. We network together at the local BNI group in Green Hills. And Jennifer's always been a front runner. She's always been a very positive person, and looking forward to working with her again in the future. I think she's taking care of some bills for myself and my family. Way that I can use her, I'm definitely going to pass that information along. As my name is Aureata Majors, and I am a native Nashvilleian. I understand there are not very many of those, so I'm one of them. We got a few. Hey, Nashville. So I grew up here in Nashville and graduated from Hillsborough High School in I don't think I want to tell you that. 1984. So, and then I matriculated through Tennessee State University's bachelor's program and also then through their master's program. So we kind of helped to set the bar for the master's program in Nashville, along with a cohort of Vanderbilt. So I came to this particular road in my life after about 25 years of nursing. And although nursing is very fulfilling when you provide that on the floor, I saw a need for additional services throughout the community. So as a young child, I'm one of 7 children, our doctor would just drive by our house on his way to Green Hills and stop in and see every one of us. Because of course, those of you with children know that if one gets sick, all 7 get sick. So he's the one who actually put this in my mind that I think this is something that I want to do. Well, got a little bit older and I found out that my great-grandmother was actually a nurse, a midwife. They called them granny midwives way, way, way back in the day. So she delivered babies all around Nashville and all around Lebanon. So once I really started getting into that history, it really impressed me even more that I wanted to make sure that I could provide a service for people in their time of need. So as most of you know, we have an ever-aging population of baby boomers. Statistics say by 2030, 65% of the American population will be 65 and over. Personally, I don't think 65 is considered old, but according to the statistics, that's what they say. And many of those people will not have access to care because, well, one, they may not be driving anymore, or they may be living on their own. So multiple reasons as to why they may not have access to care. So in comes telehealth and in comes at-home healthcare services. So like the doctor's care way back in the older days when the doctor came to our home, we are now providing that service here in Nashville. Also in Franklin, we go to Lebanon as well, and as close as the Kentucky line as we can get to provide services for those who are in need. So what I'm going to do is share my PowerPoint presentation with you guys. I want to try to run through that really quickly, and please let me know if you have any questions along the way. What we have found within our organization is that with the advent of COVID, we have more people who are at home, more people who are unfortunately lonely, they can't get out, and they have increased stress. And if you're caring for someone at home already, now couple that with COVID-19, and you have fewer resources to get out of the home or to get your loved one to the doctor's office or to the nurse practitioner's office for care. So we kind of help to bridge that gap. I'm going to share my screen with you now. Guys, hold on just a second because this is not the easiest thing for me. I usually have my daughter taking care of all of that. Can you see?
It is coming up, Aureata. Your internet connection seems to be slow, so it may take a minute for it to show up.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry about that.
No worries. Here it is.
Awesome. I'm out here in the woods of Whites Creek, Tennessee. So they say I live in a holler. I think that's how they said I live down in a holler. So not the best internet connection. So sorry about that. All right. Let's see if we can move a few things around. Okay. So advanced nurse consultants, our goal, of course, is to provide mobile healthcare services and wellness solutions. So if you are actually in need of a house calls visit, whether you are needing to be seen because you have some questions or concerns about COVID-19, or you need a consult for your aging mother or father, they need some care or at least some direction into the next phase of care, transitional care. We provide all of those services. So let's move to the next slide here. All righty, you guys see that? Right, so here are 3 main goals of advanced nurse consultants. With the 30 years of experience that I've had along with my colleague, accessibility to care, accountability, and affordability. These are the 3 things that we've recognized seem to be missing or at least could use some improvement right now today, even in 2020. What we do as far as accessibility is we address those barriers to healthcare, whether it's a mobility issue or a transportation issue. A family member is living alone and they can't get out. We can come to the house and see them, or if they're techno savvy, we can actually assist them with telehealth. We have sitters, access to sitters and companions as well, for those who just might need 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours a day. We want to make sure that we work to help you achieve your healthcare goals, whatever those are. So if your goal is as simple as, well, I really need to lose, 50 pounds, we'll come into your home, go through your refrigerator, show you those things that might actually be contributing to your weight issue, or even point out those things that are actually positive to helping you to meet your healthcare goal. So we provide preventive education, preventive healthcare and educational information as well. And we remain in contact with your primary care doctor. So our goal is not to take over that primary care portion for you, but to help fill in the gaps of care that we all know are occurring right now in the current healthcare model. So I think that this particular model will be beneficial. It's beneficial now, and I definitely can see that it's going to be beneficial as we move further down across the healthcare spectrum. Again, as people are aging and as people are concerned about going to office visits because of COVID-19. And affordability. So we match our prices to other prices that are across the United States as far as the house calls portion and the healthcare portion, telehealth. We do accept Medicare and Medicaid. And for those who do not have those particular insurances, we also take debit, credit, bank transfer with bank apps, just for the convenience of the client and make sure that we take care of those. So today's topic is caring for the caregiver. So I can't really see all of the screens right now, but if you know of someone who is caring for even a child at home or a spouse that may be sick, an elderly parent, this presentation is for you, okay? So what is a caregiver? A caregiver does just about everything, except for they usually don't care for themselves. They take into the consideration of other people, but very rarely do they consider themselves. So with that, the unfortunate thing that we see about loving and caring is that those caregivers are getting burned out. And as they're getting burned out, they're not sure of the resources that they have available to them, like house call services, so that they can enjoy life and relax and enjoy that relationship that they're having with their loved ones. So when stress builds up and burnout builds up, unfortunately, the healthcare goes down as well. And it's not the healthcare of the person you're caring for, it's actually the healthcare of the caregiver. So I can't really say a show of hands, but again, just kind of run through your mind those people who are having to take care of others within their homes, and see if any of these things kind of match up for what we have statistically. Let's see. How many people knew that it was 61% women and 39% men, mostly women, who take care of those who are within our home? And the ages of those people are between 18 and 50. On average, I'd probably say more between 40 and 50. 18-year-olds are usually at school, but it's predominantly women. And with that, the unfortunate thing is that women are caring for so many people, they're not able to really care for themselves very much. And so they get sick, they gain weight, they have issues with sleeping. So there are a lot of things that kind of impact those caregivers. On average, guys, and this is a lot of hours, 21 hours a week for caregiving. That's in addition to 40 hours a week, taking care of responsibilities for a husband and children, and then you have to come home or go to an assisted living facility to take care of loved ones. So 1 in 6 healthcare givers or healthcare providers consider themselves in poor or fair health. Again, that's because they don't really have an opportunity to take much of a break. And they don't really know there are a multitude of resources that are out there to assist them. So here's just another slide. This is a bit more recent slide, between 45 and 49. So I say the range, again, rose between 40 and 50 years old. Well, these are very productive women in society. They're going to work. 70% of them work outside of the home. And the majority of them being female, they still have to come in, you know, clean the house, cook dinner, again, take care of a multitude of responsibilities. So unfortunately, they get really burned out. So in questioning and through the AARP, there was a survey. I'm sorry, my internet connection looks like it's doing some crazy things. The survey found that 29% of people who were caregivers were having difficulty managing stress. 29% had difficulty balancing work. And I don't have to go through all of these, but I do want you to take a look and see that as our population ages, more and more people are going to begin to have issues with providing care. And then those people who need the care may have to be sent to someplace less desirable than their home. Now, enter COVID-19. COVID-19 came onto the scene, and this entire healthcare system has gone haywire. Lack of staff, lack of protective, personal protective equipment. We need masks, social distancing, quarantine, relationship issues. All of these things are fallout from COVID-19. Cancel school, job layoffs, missed office visits. Increases your stress. And so you feel like there's so much that's going on, you have no one to talk to, and you truly feel overwhelmed and overburdened. We have a connection with mental health here at Advanced Nurse Consultants. So we have those resources for you to talk to. And we're going to give you a list at the very end of our presentation of all the resources that you can delve into if you need those. But with COVID-19, one of the ways that we help is we come directly to you. So we now have kits and information so that we can bring it directly to your home. You don't have to leave your home or worry about, again, being exposed to any particular organism. We do gown and glove to make sure that we come in and help to take that part of the stress off of the caregiver and the patient as well. A little further here. This is typically the life that people are experiencing right now. We have children who don't really care to be online to go to school. There's stress throughout. Everyone's really upset, and because you don't know what to expect next, you don't know what to do. And you listen to the news, and it can be rather stressful. I believe in the power of prayer. I think that's one of the best things to do to kind of help you to reduce stress, but also talking to people, talking to family members, reaching out to your healthcare provider to help reduce the stress that you may feel during this time of COVID-19. Now, if there's anyone in the audience who's had to take care of a family member, just take a look at this list and see if you felt any of these particular symptoms. Now, most of us feel fatigued and with some headache. I think those are kind of normal things. But the physical exhaustion, the emotional exhaustion, weight loss, sleepiness, depression, these things we see far too often for caregivers who are burned out. And sometimes they just need a break. Sometimes you may need a break for 4 hours, you may need a break for 6 hours, 8 hours, or that break may actually be a day or a week. We can actually help with that. That's our goal. And so if we can't come directly to you to provide that service, we will put you in contact with someone who can, or at least get you in contact with those people who will be able to come into your home pretty quickly. That's our goal. Now, I'm not sure if you can see this slide because I had to kind of skew it just a little bit, but there are multiple types of self-care. Physical, emotional, social, spiritual, personal, even just adding space between you and that particular situation. Financial help and going to work. Actually, going to work can be quite beneficial for those who are experiencing stress because for that 8 hours or 12 hours, it removes you from having to deal with the day-to-day of healthcare and caregiving. So as we come to a close here, survival skills and things that we actually need to do for ourselves when we are the caregivers. How can we help ourselves and how can we help others? Most of these things we probably do every day, but as a caregiver, those things need to be intentional. And so intentionally plan ahead, intentionally take time for yourself, intentionally accept help. It's really difficult as a caregiver to say, I need help when you're trying to help someone else. But if your glass is half empty, you have nothing to provide to the person who's in need. We encourage rest and eating well, being very good to yourself means Go out and buy a pair of shoes. Get on Amazon. Do something nice for yourself. These things are easy ways to survive being a caregiver. And then make your health a priority. Go to the gym. If you can't go to the gym because of COVID-19 or because of other restrictions, take a 15-minute walk in the park. Go up and down your steps, run around your pool, anything that you can do to help take that 15 or 20 minutes off of you. It's actually going to increase your ability to deal with other stress. And it reduces burnout. Just 15 minutes, it's pretty easy. So guys, I'm gonna leave this particular slide with you. I can forward it to Jennifer as well. This is a list of resources that are available here in Tennessee. Many of these resources are free. If you log onto the websites that have tn.gov, they portal you over to additional websites. And those websites, AARP, they're for hospice, multiple lists of places that you can go if you're having issues with stress. If you feel like you just need someone to come in and just give you, 4 hours worth of a break, these services are free. And don't forget your local church and religious organizations. They're your family, they're your friends, they're willing to help. The biggest issue for a caregiver is just to ask for help. So why would you choose a house calls visit? Well, house calls actually improves patient safety. We'll check on the patient and make sure that there's no obstructions in the way that will cause a fall or injury. We support caregivers, which means that if you're the person who needs a moment away, we can come in and talk with you about those needs and to help you find exactly the need that matches you and your family member. It improves access to care and care coordination. Again, we do not come in and take the place of your primary care provider. Our goal is to fill that gap, to help you, and to make sure that your family member can age at home at a place where they can, at a place where they can be themselves. It's quite difficult to go to a nursing home or assisted living facility, but we know those things have to happen. But if they're at home, they tend to live longer, an average of 5 to 7 years longer. So house calls are convenient. It decreases patient loneliness. It's reduced office visit time, and it reduces your exposure to other illnesses like COVID-19. So just a few statistics. Here is what house calls visits, these 5 things that house calls visits have impacted that we've noticed over the last 3 years. There's improved quality of care. We're transitioning from a sick care model to a wellness model. So it's not just about how many pills we can give you, but how can we help you identify your best level of health? So we want a wellness model and not a sickness model. And we're trying to move away from a sickness model currently by prevention. If we're looking at COVID-19, our goal is to prevent these things from happening. So there's hand washing, social distancing, wearing a mask, those sorts of things. The other thing that we have noticed, and this last survey was in November of 2019, there's been a 9% decrease in hospitalizations and readmissions. That's a lot of money. And that means, what do we calculate that at? We calculated that at $1 trillion, approximately $1 trillion saved by allowing someone to come in and take care of the patient before they get sick. So again, a model of wellness, of sickness. Also, there's reduced utilization of the emergency room. Many people are not sure exactly what constitutes an emergency. So if we talk to you, we can usually reduce that emergency run 20% as of November of 2019. That, I believe, was closer to $2.4 trillion that was saved. And lastly, it lowers the needs for assisted living facilities and skilled nursing facilities by approximately 25%. It allows mom, dad, aunt, family member to remain at home, or at least in a place where they can be loved and cared for, and not feel like they're kind of being shipped off. Again, there are times when assisted nursing facilities are needed. So at least we have that as an option. So just to kind of give you some insight into how healthcare has changed over the last 40 years. 1960, $147 per patient to provide healthcare in America. We move forward to just skip down a couple of those. That particular cost is expected to rise by 2021 and will reach $4.8 trillion. I just completed an update last night at about 11 p.m. And now that cost is expected to be greater than $4 trillion this year. So we're not even in 2021, and we've already met and will likely exceed this $4 trillion mark. So life expectancy is great in America. We've taken care of ourselves, and we've taken care of our family members, and the life expectancy is expected to be around 86%. Newest update as of last evening, 2 studies suggest that with the advent of COVID, that may be trending down by 10 years. As you guys know, quite often it's our older patients who are having mortality issues. With the new change in our younger people being out and about, they are getting sicker as well, but it seems to be milder for our younger people, and they are surviving, whereas those of us who are older seem to be taking a harder hit. So by 2023, it's expected that 70 million citizens will be older than 65, and most of those will be homebound, and that's where we come in. So we're just about done, guys. Advanced Nurse Consultants, Mobile Health and Wellness Solutions, it's really kind of like a house. We put all those pieces together. We work with your primary care provider. We work with other healthcare organizations to make sure that you have access to what you need. And with these wonderful innovations in telehealth and telemedicine, it's a lot easier for us to maneuver. The older people need a little bit of help sometime maneuvering with it. And so we have a young lady on staff who will actually come to your home and help you, if your family cannot, to kind of navigate the whole technical issues that go along with telehealth. And so lastly, just kind of a list of the patients that I usually see and that I usually interact with. We actually see patients from the age of 7 to 97, but the median age tends to be between 40 and 50. And it's mostly women, but we see men as well, because typically women are those decision makers. They make the medical decisions and they have the child care decisions typically, and they're usually caring for aging parents or spouses. And so if you look at any of these services and you guys might need them for your home, your office, or your work site, we come directly to you. Our goal is to be as convenient as we can be to assist you in meeting your goals and to keep healthcare costs at a minimum. And here are 2 primary ways that we care for you. We come directly to your home, and we provide telemedicine. So if anyone has any questions, I'm ready. I hope the information was good for you. I hope it was informative.
Thank you, Aureata.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We're going to take a minute here to give some folks an opportunity to type a question into the chat window. If you are having a hard time with the chat window, or you would just like to go ahead and speak up, we can take a verbal question here first to start us off, and then we'll see if we accumulate some questions in the chat box.
Can I ask a verbal question?
Hello. Yes.
I had my mom, we took care of her through in-home health care, and we had unfortunately, toward the end of her life, we had a very bad situation result from a hired in-house. So my question was, I felt really guilty about that. My brother and I both did, and we worried about it. We wondered what we could have done differently to better evaluate the care she was getting and where this girl came from, et cetera. So is there any rules of thumb there about how you evaluate the care that you bring into your home?
Absolutely. Most of us go on referral from someone else who may have had an experience with needing an in-home caregiver. I'd like to say condolences, and I know that had to be really difficult for you and your family. I recommend not only do you get a resume and a vita, but if you're really considering this particular person, you want to do a background check on the company as well as on the individual who's coming in. And they should actually provide a background on the individual who's coming in as well. Some companies just say, great, we'll take you off the street, you're willing to work, come on in. That's not what we do. And if there's any company that does that, you want to really reconsider bringing that person in.
Good. That was one thing we wondered about, if we should have got some kind of information. We did not. So that's very helpful. Thank you.
Sure.
Got a couple of questions coming in. One is, any suggestions for ways to help aging parents start thinking about the future, especially when there is a real possibility that they will not be allowed to drive for a period of time?
Well, guys, I'm going to tell you that's a big battle. Telling mom or dad that they can't drive is a big one. And so the way that we approach it, honestly, is ask them to make the decision for themselves. We know the outcome, but they are our parents. They are older than us. And so we definitely make sure that we show that respect. But the question that I ask, because I have an aging mother, and my question is, Mom, how are you feeling about driving? Well, her question, she always responds, oh, those people are crazy. They just drive so crazy. And it's like, yeah, it could be you, Mom. This is me thinking, right? I would never say that to my mother. But she's talking more and more about, it's really getting difficult out there. People are driving more aggressively. I'm not sure that I want to drive. So what my sisters and I are doing is just bringing it often and letting her make those decisions. Now, if we're talking like a full safety issue, well, we're going to have to get into the argument and pull the keys. But I think it's a good time as we start to age to just put that out there and let them as mom or dad make that decision.
And I have a question, just out of curiosity. In this current season with COVID-19, are you seeing people be more hesitant to invite other folks into their home, or is this method actually increasing in popularity because they don't want to get out of their home?
Yes, and so it's actually increasing in popularity because they don't want to get out. Let's consider a doctor's appointment. So for a while, that they shut down the doctor's appointments because the doctors didn't have PPEs, they had to reduce their staff, and so doctors weren't wanting those patients to be in their offices anyway, in order to reduce the possibility of their staff getting in. So patients were like, well, we don't want to go. So they began to make phone calls and ask, could someone come to us? And as long as you are garbed up like we do the face shields and the mask and the gown, whatever is necessary, they're pretty comfortable with it. And I was really surprised that the majority of people are in their 30s and 40s who are asking for those services to be provided because they're out and about. I would think, oh, well, no big deal. They'll just go to the doctor's offices, but they're alarmed as well, and they're asking for those services. Thank you for the question. I hope it answered.
Yeah, thank you. And Linus asks, what is the process for getting your organization involved in the caregiving process?
So I think Jennifer has listed the number in my email contact. I like to speak with you directly. It is not an informal process. I want to speak with you, know what your needs are, know the needs of your family, to see if we can make that match. I don't want to waste your time. And I will tell you truthfully and honestly about exactly what to expect and what it is that we can do for you. So if you're thinking about it, you just need to have a conversation, please give us a phone call or email us, and we'll get back with you and chat with you about exactly what your needs are. So it's kind of the old-fashioned way. I know a lot of things are electronic. I came up in just a different time, and it's a one-to-one so that people will know who you are and get a feel for who you are, and you can get a feel for them. So looks like there's a question or a statement that says St. Thomas will test for aging parents for driving. I think you can get the police to do it too. I will tell you that St. Thomas does do that. If I call the police to get my mom to do it, I would be disowned. And so it's an option for you, but mom wouldn't like that at all. So while she's still safe, I'll allow her to make those decisions on her own, but absolutely St. Thomas does do that as well. Thank you.
There have actually been occasions where the police have voluntarily intervened and given me feedback on my driving. So there's that as well.
That's a good thing.
Any other questions for Aureata here? All right.
Thank you so very much. I hope I didn't, drag on too long. please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We'd love to assist you in any way that I can.
Thank you very much, Aureata. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate what you do in our community, helping us all to be healthier and safer. And we wish you all the best in your business and in fighting all the diseases, but including, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic that we're in.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Want to remind everybody to please continue to remember the Fiddlers, the Stokes, the Wheelwrights, and the Clevelands in your thoughts and prayers this week for their individual circumstances. Are there any other announcements or concerns that I have missed that you would like to make sure the club knows? All right. In that case, let's all be safe and stay healthy and keep serving. We are adjourned.